kid's playing in the seat here. Hey, buddy, we're doing a video. Are you done? Yeah, you know, play now? Okay.
Can you pronounce it?
Mitsubishi.
Mitsubishi.
Hey guys, we're back. Working on the car today. I got some more weight loss ideas on the path to ultimate weight reduction on this car while keeping it in street car form, which means full interior, glass windows, among other street car characteristics. So we got an event we're already signed up for early February. So that's the idea, is to be fully ready early February, which means a little more weight loss, a little more bash bar fabrication, because the one I had was just very primal, very R&D. There's a couple more things I wanted to do to get some weight out of the car. One being the passenger side airbag, okay? Only 8 pounds, so, you know, a lot of people out there be like, oh, run a gallon less of fuel. Sure, about the same weight. Thing is, passenger airbag, you know, it's over the front right wheel, essentially. It's within a foot of the front right wheel, which is where you want to eliminate weight when you're going around a circle track, is the front right. So it's not a ton of weight, but it's crucially placed weight. Also, these cars had the Takata airbags, so the thing's been disabled for a while because they explode and have shrapnel. So it coming out of the dash, not the end of the world. It's actually probably the best thing that can happen, is to get it out of the dash. It's just dead weight at this point. Kind of rattles, but that's one of the crucial areas that we're going to do as far as weight loss. In order to do that, the whole dash has got to come out. It shouldn't be too difficult, you know. It's a bunch of screws, plastic and screws. So obviously that's going to come out first. Radio comes out, glove box is going to come out, side panels. Then I really start to see where all the screws are at. Supposedly it's a few hours out, maybe a few hours in, probably a whole day job. But, you know, it's placed right here. And you could actually, when you start taking this out, you can actually touch it, but you can't get to the screws without taking the whole dash out. So that's one thing that we're doing. Crucially placed weight, it's important. We're pretty much out. So bottom kick plate here, glove box, obviously, radio, all the trim, cluster, and then the, you know, if any of you guys are doing this with EVOs, the big catch was kind of a few bolts tucked under here that are not easily visible. And I think that's it. I think it's about ready to come out. I'm trying to somewhat keep it in the car. I just got to get to the airbag because I got all these, you know, all that top-notch custom wiring that I'm trying not to undo. So I think we're almost there. So the dash is just about out. Really gets, you know, I got my aftermarket cluster still in. And this is all the room I really needed. So I thought this thing was bolt in. It's not. It's got kind of a hook tray there. You know, it bolts in to your dash bar. But as far as to the dash pad, it doesn't bolt in. So it's kind of not reversible. So what I did was I took my oscillating tool and just cut the corner on each end. And I should be able to fold this enough and that should drop out. Kind of poor video, but there it is. Takata. I think it's a death trap anyways. This is the one they had the recall on. I ended up having to cut the entire retainer, so cannot be put back in. Whatever. Let's go go ahead and weigh it. See what it weighs. So only 5 pounds. It seems like maybe the scale, you know, maybe the scale's not able to pinpoint that number as well, but it seems like every estimate I look up online is overestimated. You get the real part out and it's a few pounds lighter, but it's still weight and wasn't safe to be in there anyways, given that it's shrapnel loaded, but it's out. Now I get to put all this back in there, so wasn't too bad, wasn't too bad. Half radiator, Coilrad. I have a full radiator, aftermarket Coilrad radiator, going to the half radiator. Idea being, you know, the actual cooling fan is still here. The air conditioning fan attached to this half of the radiator, without an AC in the loop, you don't need this half of the radiator. And that's weight over the front right, essentially, that we can cut by going to the half radiator. So we're gonna do that. And nowhere can I find online an exact weight loss for a liquid-filled full radiator to a liquid-filled half radiator. I just can't find the information. I don't know that anybody's actually weighed the process in. So we're gonna take the full radiator out. We're gonna fill it up with water from the sink, weigh it. Then we're gonna take the half radiator, fill up with water from the sink, weigh it. And that way we'll have an exact weight for people going from a full to a half and what weight it saves. Just gotta drain your radiator. Supposedly this one accepts the fan. Some of the mounting tabs are gonna line up. We'll have to see what I have to actually create. And then a new top hose that goes straight in. And I'll keep this one, of course, so that whenever I go back to air conditioning, I pop this radiator back in. This will basically be a big race occasion kind of thing. So not a lot of work, but a little bit of experimentation. Radiator's out. Dry weight difference. The half radiator, 6 pounds. Full radiator, already aluminum. Both Coilrad. Half radiator, 6 pounds. Full radiator, 12 pounds. Dry weight, empty weight. So now we're gonna do a full weight, filled weight. But so far already 6 pounds out of the corner. I have to imagine it's gonna be maybe another 6 pounds with liquid. So we're gonna hit that 10-pound mark, I think, which is fantastic. So relatively full of water. I'm sure there's still air pockets. 19 pounds, 19 pounds. I'd say probably save 20 pounds full, completely full of coolant, as coolant's gonna be a little heavier than water itself. So 19, 20 pounds, full radiator, full of water. Okay, half radiator, full of water, 11 pounds. So between the full radiator, full of water, half radiator, full of water, 8 to 9 pounds of loss. Good news, guys, kind of embarrassing. I did my math wrong. It's actually 10 to 11 pounds between the two. So success. But my goodness, look how fantastic this fits the factory fan shroud. I mean, picture perfect. All the tabs line up. Clearance is good for hoses. You don't have to trim any shroud. I mean, just edge to edge. Now they do sell a Flexi-Lite option for another 300 bucks, but you have to cut and splice wire, and I didn't want to do that. I want the ease of transferability, but just a solid looking piece. So that's pretty much it. I've got to do a little bit of fabrication here. Originally, that's there holding the full size with the half. Easy enough to drill a hole, but the hood doesn't clear these factory mounts. So I'll be drilling a hole and doing billet mounts, which are flat, flush. Don't have this lip here, but I want to actually have them here. That way, if there's any slight differences, I'm not screwing myself by drilling before I have the product. Otherwise, all worked out pretty well. Pretty happy with it. You know, we're 10, 11 pounds down. Everything mounts like it's supposed to. Got a whole bunch of room here now. But, race car. Okay, so we got the half radiator completely installed. Had to custom order one bracket. Had a couple other brackets that I had laying around that from odds and ends stuff that just tended to work. So it's all installed. Turned out looking pretty solid, pretty professional. So this is the bracket I had to order. And it's just a Torque Solutions billet radiator bracket. You know, it has the same fitment as that, just lower profile, as you can see. So if you ever do this half rad, I would definitely order at least one of those, because it doesn't want to clear. This is essentially right where it was having an issue. It wouldn't clear. You can see the two contact points from the original bracket that was here. So this hole already exists. You can see it's a bit cockeyed. I would prefer to use a hole that exists with a little cockeyed bracket as opposed to drilling a new hole in my radiator support. That just made more sense to me. So one billet bracket. These are the brackets that I kind of had from odds and ends projects around the house, just to route the overflow hose along the radiator support. Again, no holes were drilled. These two holes are essentially the pusher fan for the AC system, and that's the original radiator bracket hole. So all of those are pre-threaded, so you can actually use the original hardware. Routed that over. I kind of had a bracket, again, another bracket I had laying around to keep the O2 sensor off the manifold. But everything seems to work properly. I went for a couple 100-mile trip yesterday. My kid's playing in the seat here. Hey, buddy, we're doing a video. You're a part of it now. Just got the hazards on. We're checking everything out. Are you done? You gonna play now? Okay. So in the process of checking out the car after getting back yesterday, making sure the radiator's working, spotted an issue. Let's see if you can get the focus on it. Right there. That's a crack in the hose, the reference tube, from the turbo to the boost controller back to the wastegate. Some of you already know what this means. It just means I've been running full spool on the turbo. As much boost as it'll push, it's been allowed to run. I don't think it's much different. I think I've pretty much maxed it out on the dyno, but of course there's ramping and stuff that's been affected. But by that line being essentially off, it's been allowed to run whatever pressure it wants to find. And of course it also has a boost leak at that point, so that's helping. But haven't had any knock on the cluster, so I don't think it's been too big of an issue. Boost gauge reached 30 pounds. As far as I can tell, it's at 35, which isn't much different than what my target is. So I think the fact that the turbo's maxed out kind of saved my butt on this. But we're gonna fix that and see what it does. It is nice to know that if ever I need maximum performance, I can just pull that hose off and I'm gonna have full spool, risking the motor, but going for the win. So we're gonna make that correction, but the radiator worked out great. It's doing everything we wanted to do. And 2 weeks till we got a race, so it's time to buckle down. Okay guys, so long story short, we're abandoning the crash bar idea, you know, the tubular exposed crash bar. I know a couple fabricators, one's too busy to get a good one done. The other guy that took a stab at it is like half complete and doesn't have time to finish it. So we're just gonna drop that idea and actually, you know, factory crash bar with the foam support and the factory USDM rear bumper is probably the best case scenario, because it's actually gonna offer some type of impact resistance as opposed to just a solid bar that's gonna shock the system. It'll have a factory crash bar that's made to absorb some hits. Factory foam, you know, so for a little bit of actual shock absorption. And then factory bumper. I have a JDM bumper that I care about. I have a factory USDM bumper I don't care about. So we're gonna chop the bottom off the USDM bumper, and I got new corner brackets ordered for that bumper, and we're just going to have a chopped rear bumper as my race bumper. It'll still have all the clearance for exhaust and all that, and good airflow out the back. And honestly, it's gonna look better than a tubular bar. So that's the project we're working on next. So being that I want to cut this bumper above the exhaust port so that I get a nice straight bumper all the way across, I kind of want to cut it in that valley. And it's going to stray here, but I set it into sun where the shadow's directly behind it. And the sun's actually giving me a pretty nice line there to follow. So that's the that's what I'm gonna go with anyways, and see if that works out the way I want it to. Like I said, it's gonna start straying across that line down to here. Basically, everything from blue line down is being cut off. I think that keeps it high and tight, keeps it in line with a skirtless side, so it doesn't look, you know, too low like it's trapping air, but still gives it a nice flow with the spoiler. Spoiler sticks out quite a bit. Bumper, USDM bumper, pretty much in line with a spoiler. So everything blue line down is being cut loose. I'll still have a license plate holder. I'll still have the tab underneath the holder that attaches to the spare wheel pan. So blue line down is getting cut off. I think the best tool for that is fine tooth oscillating tool. I would use a grinder, but it kind of melts. So I think the oscillating tool is a trick, but I'm gonna grab both tools and start playing with it. Oscillating tool seems to be doing the job without sending up tons of melted shards. There's still some that can file down. Well, let's get a nice clean cut. Clean enough for a race bumper anyways. It's working out. So as you can see, I mean, just enough bumper to cover the bash bar. Of course, the styrofoam will be cut flush. We'll still have our mounting tab for flop support. Quick access to the tow hook. Just, I mean, covers all the essentials. So now I'm at the point where the bumper is all nicely shaved, filed. Got my foam marked, and I'm just gonna go ahead and cut the foam even, unless I see a line that makes sense just above it. But otherwise, I'll just cut the line there. The final touch to me, $20 pack of carbon fiber print door edge trim, just to line the bumper so there's no splitting or, you know, paint spidering kind of thing all the way around. So I gotta mount my corner bracket still, but turned out good. Turned out good to me. Nice high flow race bumper that will absorb some impact. All right, guys, so this video has been months in the making, mostly because I'm just busy with fatherhood, and I'm an AC guy in Florida, so work's been crazy. It's gotten hot, but the race happened back in February. It's now May. The race did not go in my favor. I lost badly. I had problems, the car had problems, and Cletus had a Porsche. So, bad combination. I had him round one. Let's just say the results were bad enough that I was in no hurry to make a video about it. But I do have that footage. That's gonna be the next video. In-car footage as well as GoPro footage from outside the car. I lost bad enough that I may have acquired a new car for a purpose-built Spectator Drag car. So that's the next video. This one's done for. Appreciate you guys watching as always. And stay tuned for the next one. Bye-bye. Or stare at the camera.